Hello, Divine Ones! Welcome! This is One Divine Light, and today the guides are going to be sharing a message, an activation, and a clearing. And we're going to do the best that we can because, well, I haven't been here for a while because I've been sick. And so more than one time, and it's given me it's actually been a blessing because it's given me a lot of time for reflection. Now the guides are going to be sharing this activation today and an energy clearing, and so vocally we're just going to see what happens, and so we'll just find out what's going to happen today. Now they're also going to share a message which sounds very maybe strange for the times that we're in, but it's very celebratory, and it is celebrating the divine that is you. There is no perfect time than now to celebrate the divine aspect of self. And you might think and look around the earth and think that this is not the cause for celebration. And we would say there is an internal party. There's an internal party that's happening, and there's an internal uprising. And so when they say party, they're talking about like an energetic frequency. And they're saying this frequency is like a bubbling with anticipation. So dear ones, today we wish to share an energy clearing and attunement. So while you are always connected, sometimes you are unaware of the divine connection that you have and the divine that you actually are. And so you are never not connected. You are never without this. You are never without your crown. You are never that. But you forget and you think, oh, I am less than, or oh, I cannot do this. Or you look around your circumstances and you say, this is very chaotic indeed, or this is very bad indeed. And we would say outward appearances are not as important as inward appearances or inward reflections, inward knowing. Like that, like divine knowing, like this. Some of you would say, like your clairs, or your divine gifts, or your ability to see beyond what the five senses perceive. And we would say even beyond this aspect, there is this divine knowing. We would just call it today the heart's knowing. Now we would like to just call it this for today, because it is like, what would we say this is? It is this all-permeating love that is beyond the idea of a love that you have, beyond the concept or the idea and concept of a love as you know it. Love as you know it right now is more of a barter system. You do the nice things for me and I love you, or we have these things in common and I love you. Rather than like even the idea of I love you unconditionally, even beyond this, because we are both love and we are all love. And it's hard to see that looking around right now. But today we wish to attune you. And in actuality, we're doing nothing. But other than to sing the song, to play the instruments, if you would, to pluck the strings that create the vibrational frequency that brings about the awareness of the divine you are, so that may be celebrated. It is time for celebration. So you all cannot walk with your heads down. What is this actually? Is sadness. Sadness. You cannot walk in despair and not see the divine in all things. And we would say that we know that it's challenging to look at what is around you and see divinity in that, yet it is the crowning glory. It is the purpose. It is not meant for you to go out and try to make something happy that seems unhappy. So it is that you, instead of trying to go out, you come home. You are called inward. You are called for that inward reflection now. So I'm asking them a question here, because they're saying you're being called inward, but at the same time outward. And so they're saying, individually, you are being called inward, and some of you are coming kicking and screaming because you know the things you need to do for yourself. You know the things that uplift you. You know the people, places, things, and you know it, and some of you don't want to do it. So you'll take any other way but that way. Don't I know it? Oh, that's funny. And the guides are showing me, and the internal resistance that we have from time to time to doing the things that we should do, and we know we should do, and now we are really being called to do, and is really being called to us stepping up. And that step up is really the internal work. Could we call it work? No. Internal expansion, which might seem like work to the small self, but is actually home to the divine self. So there is actually no effort required. So we are saying this from two different aspects. We are saying there are things that you know that you should be doing that you are not doing. There are ways of being, people, places, things, that have had their time, their expiry date, like the sour milk, but you continue to want to drink from the container, even though you know it's sour, because that's a familiar, and also, so there's amount of love here, what is this exactly, please? So they're showing me that some of you, are in relationships where there is an amount of caring, and even though the relationships have, I don't want to say run their course. Would that really be accurate? So sometimes things have an expiration date. They have a finish line. But when you think of this, you think of that's the end of it. The milk was sour. I poured it out. I rinsed the container. I threw it in the recycling, and then it went to the garbage. End of it, right? And it's not like this. Sometimes you think that in ending something, that means that the love isn't there, or the caring isn't there, or maybe that you didn't try hard enough. And we would say that that is not always the case. Sometimes it is the case that you leave a situation while you still have a love in your heart. Then you just know that it is time to leave this situation, whatever that situation may be. And it is not necessarily just people. It can be places and things, as well as what I'm seeing here is like even like schooling or education or courses or something that you feel like, well, I committed to this, so I should finish it. And sometimes you taste what looks good on the tray, only to say that, oh, I thought this was what I wanted, but actually there is a divine calling within me, and this isn't exactly what I wanted, whatever that may be. And this includes relationships as well. And we are not telling you to run out and to drop everything and to not be in relationships, or not, do these things, or drop out of school. We're not telling you what to do. We are telling you sometimes there are things, and there are multiple things. So it's showing me many people with different things. They're showing it to me like this, oh, should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? And my hands are on my head, and they're leaning on a desk, and they're showing me like, I just don't know what to do here. I just don't know which way to go. And the great thing is you can go either way. The great thing is you can go either way, because even if you stay while the milk is sour, what's going to happen? Well, it may be more sour, or it may turn into buttermilk, in which you could create another recipe, like a no yeast bread. You see, there are a lot of things. And so while it may not be what you had wanted, and the milk is definitely sour, sometimes you may take that soured milk and make a really great recipe. So now, why are we saying all these things today? Because they may seem like confusing. Are you telling me to stay? Are you telling me to go? What are you telling me to do? And we are not telling you to do anything. We are telling you to be who you are. And this is really the most important thing. But we would say, there is no shame, and there is no blame and guilt to be had in leaving a situation that is no longer serving. So like what you would call serving, we would say we'd like to use this soured milk. Sometimes it is not good to drink the sour milk, and sometimes that you may hold on to the soured milk for a little bit longer, because you would like to make bread with no yeast, so you would use the buttermilk instead. And so in this way, the souring of the milk has its purpose. And so we would say, that there are many of you, we'd like to go back, there are many of you that are resisting doing the things you need to do, and then you are feeling bad about them, like feeling bad, like, why didn't I do this? I should have done that. If only I did this, if only I did that. What if I would have done this or that? And this is a game that you cannot win, you see, because it does not matter which way you jumble up the pieces of the Rubik's Cube, even if the pieces don't go back together. Surprise, it's time for you to stop playing the game. Sometimes you think, oh, if the Rubik's Cube goes back together, hooray, I did it, I achieved something. And sure, you achieved something in the realm of form, informed by ideas of the past, that by in fact completing the Rubik's Cube, that you have a degree of intellect, or a degree of knowledge, or you deserve an accolade, or you have achieved something. And these are all ideas of the past. And you see, the game is about to end. And don't be scared. This is not scary. The game is about to end. This game, as you know it, the mouse trap. This is a board game. They're showing me the mouse trap board game with the thing that falls. There was nothing to be caught. So we would say, that the time is upon you now to do the internal expansion, And so this activation is for the internal expansion. So I keep wanting to call it the internal work, and they keep correcting me to say, indeed, it is not work, though it may feel that way. And ultimately, there are many things that you can do. There are many paths that you can take. There are many books that you can read. There are many things that you can do to elevate your physical body. Your physical body is in transformation right now into a lighter physical body, to a less dense body. Your physical body is changing, and those that are being born into this field, and that will be born into this field, as you would call it, born, that come into this field, they are being born, or they are arriving with less dense bodies, and a reconfigured, recalibrated energy body, and your idea of the energy body, and all that it contains, will be flipped on its side, will be challenged and confounded. Will be challenged. And you will be faced with the fact that you have been living and existing and basing your life upon, taking actions based upon all of these ideas that were only ideas that have been floating around in what you would call this field of existence, if you would. We've talked about this many times, and within this field, this energy field, there is like the same way that you would have like an octave on like a piano. They're showing me my harmonium, like an octave here and in this way, and they've said it lots of times, like there's only so much that you can do and play within this. Even if you are the very best player, even in this way, there's only so much that you can play. And you're being called now to the higher octave. And this will require an internal reflection. This will require an internal confrontation. You will be confronted with the self that you have created and all of its ideas and beliefs and limited ideas and beliefs about who you are and who others are. You see, sometimes there has to be a mess, and they're showing it to me like this, a person coming underneath a table that there's like a puzzle on a table and a person coming underneath it and just hitting it like right like this, like, and the pieces fly everywhere. And this is how they're showing it to me. Sometimes someone comes along and just knocks it accidentally, and someone comes along and purposely knocks it. And you can run around and try to pick up the pieces and put them back together. And this might be useful in some scenarios where you might try to put something back together and you may think, well, I'm not going to put it back together as it was. But understand that the puzzle is a construct. And in that construct, you see, if you want it to go back so that it fits together as it did before, then you're going to need to put it back together as you did before. You can't just take some of the pieces and then, try to add other things to it and say, okay, well, you know what, I'm not going to put this puzzle back together the way it was before because it clearly didn't work. So I'm going to take some of the pieces that I think work and I'm going to, try to put in some other things that are not puzzle pieces and are other, games or other things that I can think that I can put this together and I can reconfigure this world, so to speak, because the world is the puzzle. I can reconfigure this world, by trying to still put it together, and you're still trying to reconfigure it. And we would say you are lifting to the higher now. That doesn't mean you're all going on a journey in a, like a rocket ship somewhere and you're all gonna be like, bye. It's not like this, okay? But your physical body is being lifted or not lifted. Yes, in some ways you can say lifted because it is vibrationally lifted, is being acclimatized. It's being acclimatized now, and today we wish to acclimatize it more so that you may hold that lighter vibration, if you would, or we would say higher vibration, and anchor that within yourself. And so this activation today, this attunement, this transmission is for this as well. Because you are being acclimatized. And so sometimes you may have the feelings, feelings, but that's not quite the word. I just need the right word here. You may have the feelings. They're just telling me to get out of the way because I'm like, I know there's another word. And they'll give it to me if it's necessary. Because sometimes you have these things that happen. Like you feel very tired. Very, very tired, or you feel unwell. And sometimes it is the This is like the recalibration of your physical body. And sometimes you really do need to rest, and you really do need to nourish and nourish the soul. So you really need to nourish now. Because this is really important. Instead of a lot, it is a little, but better quality. You understand? Instead of trying to do so many things and get so many things and eat so many things, like if you think of nourishing yourself, you might think all these things, and we would say rather than more, it is less, but of a better quality. So you could have a lot of things you see that are like plastic and very flimsy, or you could have like one solid wood thing. You understand? And some of you understand this more than you know. Intellectually. And so you see, and this is very important, whatever that point is that they just made, is very, very, very important. Is very important. Why are you showing me this? Okay, because you will rock, you will teeter back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Until you decide you're going to stop and get off. The hobby horse, is showing me a wooden horse. Get off. The rocking horse. Get off. Get off of this game. Because the truth of the matter is you're not on it. The truth of the matter is you're not even in it. The truth of the matter is that this matter is truth. And all matter is truth. And all truth is matter. You see that truth, or divinity, or God, or source, is all things. Is even, we would say, all thoughts. The thoughts that are being had are the thoughts that are being had as a result of being within a certain vibrational field, and this field is changing. It is being lifted, if you would, vibrationally. And while you're not going anywhere, you are seeing things differently and experiencing them differently. And we would say, as we have said before in a previous transmission, so they're talking about a previous transmission that they talked about these skyscraper buildings, and I will come back and put whatever this message is that they're talking about, so that you could revisit it, because it feels very important. So if you feel called to revisit this, they're saying please revisit this. And I feel it was a 3-part series. I think this was a 3-part series. Okay, I need to step back now and just let them finish here, and we'll get to that. Okay, I'll link something here. Because try as you will, there is actually nothing to escape from. Even if you leave a situation, even if you go somewhere, even if you change something, even the idea of samsara, you think you need to escape. And then one day, it's not really day, is not really the word, but at its essence, there is nothing to escape from. Like one day you realize you've been running in circles on the hamster wheel, when you didn't even need to be on it at all. And this cage is an illusion, and all these shavings are just what you've been told you need to do with the hamster. You understand that all of this is just ideas and beliefs that are now being ripped apart at the seams. Sometimes they say things and I'm like, what? Yeah. And they're like, yes, ripped apart is the word we want to say, at the seams. And this is not bad. So, okay, now, excuse me, please. Now let us acclimatize the physical body. Attune. Frequency wise. So this is acclimatize the physical body, attune the energy body, and activate, which we will talk about before we do it. So let's begin now. Yes, 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 yes. And if you say yes, then we say yes. And we wish to begin now. Dear ones, the time is now. If you're ever wondering and asking, when is the right time? The right time is always now. Now is all there is. It's all there has ever been. And while this is a concept or an idea you may have heard of, we wish this to be an internal knowing, like a truth, an internal truth, because this is the truth, that there is no time, and if there was a time, the time would be now. So if you're asking yourself, when is the right time? The answer is now. Okay? So we wish to attune, acclimatize. Please first, the physical body. So if you say yes and we say yes, yes as it has always been, because we are not we and you are not you and she is not she. We are actually one and we are actually you. So if you are finding this message at what you would call transmission, it is actually you calling to you. The frequency which you have always been in tune with. Physical form acclimation now start. Excuse me, please. Yokoto so Iniasai, Shinialai, Shokia Pakata, Satakarasa, you have all been fed. Yorokorosota, like an animal trough. Yorotokorosota, a bed of lies. Yorotokoroso, about who you are. Ayokoroso, your crown stripped off you. Yokoroso, taken away. Yokoroso, told to pray to outside gods. Yorotokorosa, you are source in form. You are God in form. Yorotokoroso, inside of a dense field. You are how God would express inside of a dense field. What we wish to say is that when a source comes or manifests in this plane of existence, you call the manifest field, or you call earth, it manifests in a certain way according to the times, and the times are the vibration in which you sit upon or sit within. And it is being called to you now with an internal vision, with a higher vision, as we said in our previous transmission, that it is time for you to go up, 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 to the top. When you go up higher, higher, higher in the floors of the building, and you get to the roof, you see things very differently, and now this is the time for this, as it always has been the time for this, but it is now the time to see, because it must be seen and you must see it. And this is not something that you're going to do. Is a way of being, and in this way of being, all will be known as source, as God, as divine, as one, as it has always been and always will be. There is no separation. You look at you and you look at plant, you look at tree, you look at others, you look at food, and you say, this is different than what I am, and it is not different than what you are. You are all things. And you are divine itself. Put your crown on, and recognize the crown on others. This is the way. And it is the quickest path. We are not saying it is the easiest path, but we are saying it is the quickest path. Sometimes to go up the mountain, going straight up, Yokoroso, might be very challenging, right? Yokoroso, you would go very quickly on an incline up a mountain, Ioroto koroso tekarasa tekarasa, and it would be maybe very hard. Ioroto koroso tekarasa tekarasa. So some of you take the longer road, winding around, Ioroto koroso, making some pit stops, Yokoroso, along the way. And we are saying now that the road is clear for a direct route up, Ioroto Koroso, and how hard it used to be to take that direct road up. It's not going to be that same challenge anymore because your body is being acclimatized in such a way in this transmission that you will be able to like forge the path easily. Ioroto Koroso Tekarasa, like the path will appear. They're showing me like long grass, and all of a sudden it opens up, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know this was a path, and now I can take it. Okay, like this. Ioroto Korasai Chikia Pakatasani Ashai Koroto Koshimia Pakarasata Kerso Sukuti Chikia Patosikia Totosukia Shukia Pakadasa Karaso Tochikara Takarasa physical form, Io Koroso Kotakatiskotochikara acclimation. Io Kotokotakashkara Tatik Yurkutikara. It is Shikorabakantisikorotikishin on Korasatekarasakotasikarasakotoskorbatishi. In a Sikatokoitsikapatakashi on Koratachimaya. Kumangana Chquana Chikapatachikabata Chquanda Chquatiki or Tiki Chikabakate. Yenotoroke she. Nasairai oroto miai atai shaila sai shoriu anasai shu nai torokoso ane shukia pakara sati oro tepechi anategara shi say wa twa iwa walk say what do we kia boa woo say me woo say we woo say 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 ne woo I say Sekchkwati wi dai shikti sukia manesia la kuta anakwu asai wu ni wu asai wu su shamayatai. Nai wu sai ni shiwaktai ne se ereke sheweke ne se wiktine ashaiki apwasia. Anai shektene awai iai si ai ki ai su Sane shia wu sai excuse me. Huktainai shaky wu sai shi wu ni wu sine wu si shi. And as I kuti shine kata shikota shia la kota sene away shaky ai. Sai shu ha sai shakata yuktai show. And it's a kiapakata chikirate shinea karasata 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 karata karasakirate kirase nia shaya kurota karasata kirasata shine kasakiata shakai yanana shai kinana sai shanai shai kanasai energy body. Attunement to the recalibrated energy body and the integration of the higher frequencies and emerge with the lower frequencies that create the sound, the trumpet, the horn that brings you home. Please begin. So years you Sinia wua, sini sinia China maybe she a wua say wua 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 woo see woo see woo see woo see woo Zua No so ibi jua ziu ziju Anaya sori pia maya toroko so me anasaina shaywi awana sokia patasa code please you jibigadi what is you any zigi zimu what zwu ani anari Zebra was karata activation now. In the awareness of the divine, that you are, and all is, and the recognition of that, and the internal knowing of that. Anasaya toro korso kia pakata sana shaikia makara satakia takoroso tia shaikia makata sai. Anesio toro koroso tekera baraktai si chia makata sa tekere tikere seki. Maya no no so kia pakete sekere tikere te shake be apek the sene shea watasa. Is the yori tikabarata grasari kabrata tati yori te korata to work tati yori take shape a chair kirto de mia kautuia at you what I see see up kote Si o kutia pata shia la shia na koroso tikia pakata la sana shari shu. Nasay tara shaya laya paya kaya si Sanay shayalaina soya mayata ya korosa tekrasa Anaya saya taya shaya kaya saya taya shaya nai kara sai shai anasai taya shinia waktai sai shi kuana sai shia maya lasha ini atu kuria pakate shikere kere so kia pakara se tere so ini asakara se shonia pikia paru yishua mani shia mani wai kimuno wai shi anai show Wanishi pukwaina so inishi anashai ekwanai sai shai alainai shai piapa sai ishiawa pashia pukwa inioka sia pakata sonia mai shia wakati se show anesea pakata shia pakati shia manashia pata shia la shasho iniasha show shia pikiana show anansai kia pakata show iamawaina shai at hayashia paya shai kaina sai siwara shia show Juana Sayashia, Juana Siashi. And all is integrated in perfect ways. Yokoroso in the perfect amount needed. Ioroto korosa for your expansion at this time. Ioroto koroso tekerasa. And yes, you may revisit this anytime. Ioroto korosa tekerasa as you wish and as you feel called to do. You will receive exactly what is needed by you in every moment. Ioro koroso, and this is always the way outside of this transmission. You are always receiving what is needed by you at this moment. Sometimes, excuse me, please. You need the lump of coal to build the fire. Or you need the lump of coal to create the fire. And you say, this is a lump of coal, but I asked for something better in my stocking. I did not want the lump of coal. And we would say, sometimes it is necessary. And that is what is needed. And you are always receiving what you need. So as you look around, in the past you would see a lump of coal and say, this is not what I asked for. And we would say, now you will see a lump of coal and you will know with internal peace that this is somehow part of what I need. Whether I need it physically or whether I need to realize that I never needed it at all. Whatever is what you would call the lesson. We wouldn't phrase it like that. They don't necessarily like this phrasing. We would say more. Sometimes you need something. Sometimes you need the darkness to see the light. And sometimes you need the darkness to know that the darkness is also light. And this is what you're being called to now. It is this new level, if you would, vibrationally, of understanding that the darkness is also the light. You cannot have a separation of dark and light. All is one, manifest in multiple ways for multiple reasons. And yours is not to be a detective and figure out what are all the reasons that light has manifested itself as dark or gray or any other color in the rainbow you would think of. So yours is to know the truth that all, regardless of what it is manifest as, or how it is manifest, or whatever color crayon it is in the box, is all the same essence, is all the same essence at the same level. You are all here. And ironically, you are nowhere. You are here being you, and that you is actually no thing. It is nothing. And we like to say this because yes, you are experiencing this, but even as you are experiencing this, it is not what you think that it is. And it is not how you believe that it is. But when you are willing for that internal expansion, and that means walking up the mountain in the direct path, rather than the loop-de-loo, and you can take any way you want. That doesn't mean there won't be challenges, because there are always what you would call challenges, but we would say they're opportunities always. The coal is opportunities if you just open your heart to the divinity that you are and all is. Then the coal itself is divine, is source, is divine. In one way, you may say, I am receiving a transmission. And in another way, you could say you are the transmission itself. And in another way, you could say that there is just transmission always, that is taking place always, all the time. There is just an energy transmission. If you would think about this like a field, but a field that never ends, like it's just all energy, transmitting like what you would call information. But this information is coming in a form based on the fact that we are in an earth existence. So if we were in another realm of existence or dimension, then the information we would access it differently than we access it now. And we access information in this way based on the field, the dense field that we are in. However, the field is getting lighter, and we are acclimatizing our physical and energy bodies to that field, which is what we did today. And Ioro soto karasa te karasa te karasa, as a result of this, Ioro korasa, the sites that you see will be changed. Now, that doesn't mean that the sites themselves will change, although in some circumstances they will. The way that you view the sites will change. And when you see all things as divine, you seed that song into the field. And that is the song that is playing in the background. It is the undercurrent to all the other currents. You know, when you feel like worried about something and you keep pushing it down and it's in the back of your mind, it's still like the undercurrent that is under the current. Like it's the undercurrent to everything else in your life. You know, if you've got that nagging worry like that, but instead of the nagging worry, it is the song of divinity that is the undercurrent. Yes, Ioroto Koroso, so start playing that song. Ioroto Koroso te Koroso te Koroso, and how do you play it? Ioroto Koroso te Koroso, by being. Ioroto Koroso, you don't have to do anything. Ioroto Korosa, even when you think about meditation, if you think about, multiple steps and all of these different things, and yes, sure, this is good and there are benefits of it. And also you can just be the pure awareness, the pure consciousness. There's not really a word for this, like an English word that I can say, because it's not anything that I would say would be giving you an idea of something, and you might even have a concept of something, but the pure awareness that you are, or the pure consciousness that you are, Ioroso te Karasa, is here now and is everywhere now and is actually everything now. And so therefore, Ioroto Koroso, it's always accessible now. Ioroto Koroso, we don't want you to struggle. Ioroto Koroso, there's no need for it, because you can rest Ioroto back into the pure awareness that you are. Ioroso te Korosa te Korosa. Okay, and so we wish to thank you, Ioroto Korosa te Korosa, immensely, Ioroto Korosa te Korosa, for this opportunity to share this transmission with you today, Ioroto Korosa te Korosa. And truth be known that we are always sharing a transmission, and beyond the fact that we are sharing a transmission, we in fact ourselves are the transmission. Your body is the transmission. Your energy body is the transmission. Everything that you see in front of you is the transmission. Everything is it. Everything is the message. Everything is what you would call the teacher. Everything is what you would call enlightenment. Everything is what you would call God. Everything is. That's it. That's it. And we love you. There's a deep love and reverence that they're sharing now with you. And me with us. Excuse me, please. She heart, what you would call one love, is just boils down to love, and that's all there is a deep permeating like love. It's not love, heartbeat, frequency, and within that one pulse of life, is all things, and a deep love that is beyond your concept of love, because all is this. And all is bliss. We love you. So I'm just going to check in here. Okay, thank you so much for sharing in this transmission with us today, and thank you to the guides for sharing this today, and yeah, thank you to my physical body for being able to just bring through this transmission and vocally bring this through today. I just didn't know when I sat down here 100% what was going to happen, and here we are. And so thank you so much for all of this, and as always, we're sending you so much love. Thank you.